Thanks so much for joining us here today. I am Jenny Tiedema from Amazon Chime, and also here with me is Curtis Hartman. We are product managers on the Amazon Chime team here at AWS, and we're excited today to spend some time teaching you how to set up business calling and voice connector in minutes with Amazon Chime. So before we get into the meat of today's topic, I want to take a minute and talk to you a little bit about what Amazon Chime is for those of you who might not know. For those of you who may not know what Amazon Chime is, Amazon Chime lets you meet, chat, and share content with a single secure application on all of your devices. This includes desktop, mobile, and most recently, the ability to use Amazon Chime from your browser. We offer this service with pay-as-you-go pricing that lets you choose what features to use and scale up and down with the needs of your business. Individual users have the ability to select the features that they need, all from a single application. One truly unique aspect of Amazon Chime is that when compared to other similar services, there are many features like messaging that can be used for free, and some features like hosting meetings that only incur a charge when they are actually used. And this gives both administrators and users ultimate choice and flexibility. So a little bit more about what the actual features of Amazon Chime are. Amazon Chime is a modern team collaboration and communication service from AWS. We make it really easy to communicate with people, not just inside your organization, but also outside your organization, leveraging voice, video, and chat. So you can use Amazon Chime for your online meetings, for any audio and video conferencing needs, as well as all your messaging and business chat needs. And then what we're here to talk about today, in March, we added business calling. So now these four aspects of Amazon Chime, online meetings, video conferencing, business chat, and business calling, are all accessible through a single application. So a little bit more about Amazon Chime Business Calling. Amazon Chime Business Calling lets you place and receive business calls and text messages to over 100 countries. It's a single application, including what we'd already seen, for conferencing and calling. Pricing is, again, pay-as-you-go, based on per minute with no additional seat fees. You only, just like the rest of Amazon Chime, pay for the features that you use when you use them. With Amazon Chime Business Calling, there's the ability to dial out to over 100 countries. The next thing Curtis is going to talk about is Amazon Chime Voice Connector, a service that carries your voice traffic over the internet and elastically scales to meet your capacity needs. With Amazon Chime Voice Connector, you can save 50% or more by eliminating fixed telephone network cost and simplifying voice network administration. You can send some or all of your traffic through Amazon Chime Voice Connector, and there's the ability to scale up or down based on your business needs. Now we're going to actually take some time and go directly in to the Amazon Chime console in order to see how to set up business calling and voice connector.
Thanks, Jenny. Now let's talk about another level of detail on Amazon Chime Business Calling, and I'll give you a demo of both the console as well as the app within the clients. Another level down on business calling. With business calling, you can call and text within the app to over 100 countries, and that includes the desktop, mobile, and web apps. Each Amazon Chime user gets a business telephone number and voicemail. And the service is easy to manage within the Amazon Chime console. I'm actually going to show you that in a few minutes. The key use case for us here is that we enable our customers to move information workers from expensive desk phones to an inexpensive cloud service. What can you do with Amazon Chime Business Calling? Well, Amazon Chime Business Calling gives you a dial pad. You can actually dial phone numbers or actually click to call from contacts within the app. You can actually receive phone calls. You can choose to either answer, decline sending the call to voicemail, or message back the caller. And a very powerful feature is actually turning a one-on-one call into a full meeting by actually adding Amazon Chime contacts or actually adding users with phone numbers. And finally, you can actually send and receive text messages directly within the app out to mobile phone numbers. Example use case of business calling is for remote workers, being able to place and receive calls on the laptops or their mobile phones using their business telephone number versus using a personal phone number. And they have a separate business voicemail to keep personal and business voicemails separate. Now let's walk through setting up Amazon Chime Business Calling. So the first step is to log into the Amazon Chime console by going to the AWS Management Console and selecting Chime and logging in. And you will be presented with a typical Amazon Chime console. And the first step that you go through is to actually purchase phone numbers for a user. And that's done through the Phone Number Management tab on the left-hand pane. So you click Phone Number Management, select Orders, and you select Provision Phone Numbers. Since we're setting up business calling, you choose business calling. And then you're given the option to actually search for phone numbers in your geographic area. In this particular case, I'll search by area code. And I'll enter an area code, hit the search button, and I'll see a list of phone numbers, and I can choose one that I'd actually like to use for this particular business calling user. I select a phone number, then select provisioning. And a few seconds later, the phone number will actually show up in the inventory tab. In this particular case, it was a 301 area code number. And once I actually have the phone number, the next step is to actually go through assigning the phone number to an individual Chime user. So I go to Accounts, select the account, my particular account in this case, and then I select a user. In this case, I'll select Joe Patterson. Select Joe. Under User Actions, I'll select Assign Phone Number. Then I'll actually choose the phone number that I just created, and then connect Assign. Now I've actually set up this particular user, Joe, with the actual phone number, and you can see it actually down here. And now I actually will go in and enable both calling and SMS on this phone number. They're actually disabled by default. So I go back to the User Actions, select Edit Telephony Permissions, and then I select the particular telephony features that I want to enable for this user. In this case, I'm enabling inbound calling, outbound calling, and SMS. And then click Save. So that was just a quick example of setting up business calling for a Chime user, simply assigning phone numbers and then enabling the particular calling features in SMS. When you receive phone calls in your Amazon Chime business calling phone number, the incoming call rings on both your mobile and your desktop app. You have a choice to answer on either. You can either answer the phone, decline it, sending it to voicemail, or reply with a text message. When you're in a one-on-one call, you can escalate it to a full meeting by inviting additional participants. Go to the More menu, select Invite Others, and choose the other participants. You can choose users with phone numbers or users with Amazon Chime accounts. The service also supports voicemail. In this case, for a particular contact, we actually have a downloadable voicemail recording that we can listen to on our desktop or mobile. And it also supports short message service or text messaging. In this particular case, I can actually text using my business phone number directly with a mobile contact. Now let's take a deeper look at Amazon Chime Voice Connector. So what is Amazon Chime Voice Connector? We're able to connect customers' on-premise phone systems to the global telephone network using a SIP trunk We enable calling to 100 countries, and the connectivity runs over the AWS Direct Connect or your internet connection. Actually, let's try that again. I just jumped into this too early. You want to go back one slide? Now let's look at more detail at Amazon Chime Voice Connector. What are you able to do with Amazon Chime Voice Connector? Well, this is a service that connects to the customer's on-premise phone system and enables calling to a global telephone network to 100 countries. It runs over the AWS Direct Connect or your internet connection and uses a standards-based session initiation protocol. Our goal here is to enable customers to move their telephony workloads, typically their second largest IT expense, to the cloud. An easy way to get started with Amazon Chime Voice Connector is to use it for outbound calling only. In this case, customers keep their phone numbers and inbound calling on their existing provider and route some or even all of their calls outbound through AWS. This immediately allows customers to save money and gives us an opportunity to earn your trust. The more advanced use case for Amazon Chime Voice Connector is to move both inbound and outbound calling to the service. In this case, numbers are actually moved to the service, in many cases ported, and both inbound and outbound calling goes through AWS. And this allows customers to achieve the maximum TCO advantage for the service. Now let's do a demo. Now let's talk about setting up Amazon Chime Voice Connector in the Amazon Chime console. You log into the console. You have two basic steps. The first step is to actually acquire phone numbers, much like you did with business calling. And then the second step is actually to provision a voice connector. To provision a voice connector, you select the Voice Connector tab and then create new voice connector. You give the voice connector a name and you choose whether to enable or disable encryption. In this case, we'll keep encryption enabled and press create. Now I move to setting up the individual options for the voice connector. First thing I do is set up termination. And these are calls that go from your on-premise phone system to AWS. You select enable. You have a choice of two security options. You can either use IP whitelisting, and these are the list of IP addresses that are allowed to send SIP traffic to the voice connector. And you can also use SIP authentication credentials. In this particular case, you enter a username and password. Once you've done with the termination settings, you set up the origination settings. These are the settings that enable calls to go from AWS to your on-premise phone system. In this particular case, you provision IP addresses or fully qualified domain names of your on-premise phone system. And you choose the host name, port, protocol, and a priority or wait. We use priority or waits to decide how calls are actually routed across multiple hosts in your enterprise. And the final step is actually to provision phone numbers and assign them to the actual voice connector. You select assign from inventory, and you choose voice connector number, choose phone numbers to assign to your voice connector.
Thanks so much, Curtis, for walking us through how to set up Amazon Chime Business Calling and Voice Connector today. We're super excited to have these features available for our customers. Derek Masseth, CTO at the University of Arizona, has said our implementation of Amazon Chime, and specifically Amazon Chime Voice Connector, will allow us to enable capabilities like mobility, integrated voice, and video collaboration, and soft phone technologies at a cheaper per call rate. And Philip Miller, head of infrastructure at Brooks Brothers, has said business calling will enable us to direct dial phones in over 100 countries, which will lower our telecommunication costs overall. We can't wait to hear from more customers like this about how they are using Amazon Chime Business Calling and Voice Connector to improve their business. Brooks Brothers and University of Arizona are just a couple of the dozens of customers who are using Amazon Chime every day. Thanks again for taking the time to walk through these two new exciting features with us.